Hey guys, Thomas the Silly Jr. here, aka Mustached Tom, and I'm sorry it's been a while, but I've been really busy last week with work stuff and all this other stuff, and I've been trying to keep up. And I came across Stranger Things on Netflix, so I figure I do a review of all eight episodes in one video, just an overall review of the entire season. And yeah, okay, so I had heard great things about Stranger Things. It was a great show, and yeah, and it gathered my attention, and went in completely blind into what was going on, and it already felt like, well, it had the 1980s sort of date there. I don't know if all the references off the bat were of that era, but whatever. Um, and yes, there will be spoilers, so yes, if you have not seen this show, I would highly recommend watching it. I found it to be extraordinarily good. Uh, and as short as it is, it's all packed into one pretty great package, at least for me. Um, So yes, we begin with these four kids who are just playing this D&D, Dungeons and Dragons thing, and when they finish, one of the kids goes home and sees this sort of weird creature or something in the forest, and sort of runs into a different place in this little shack, and he gets taken away, or yeah, just taken away. So the next day, or whatever, however much time passes, they eventually see that he's missing, and the mom calls the cops, and the cops start their investigation. The three kids that are remaining are sort of also trying to figure out what's going on, and they come across this girl who comes out of the forest when they sort of tried to retrace their steps back to where he was missing, and they quickly discover, or they soon discover, I don't know how many episodes in it was in, but they discovered that she has powers, and she's sort of like this experiment. Um, so yeah, they come across her, and so there's two sort of parallel stories going on here, with this sort of monster that took away the kid and this girl who has these powers. And we pretty much follow these characters as there's stuff between the investigation and the kids and all this stuff. So what I really like about this show is it is a horror, and although I wouldn't say it's the scariest thing in the world, I will say this, that the way that they handle their characters in this show allows at least me to feel more invested in the characters. I want to see the characters get out alive. Um, and that's something I haven't seen in a lot of horror movies. I mean, I want to say about 95% of horror movies, it's usually these cardboard cutouts that just, you don't care about them. You're actually rooting for the villain or the killer most of the time, and it's just really overdone and just really lame. And I was so glad to see these characters and actually see characters for once in a really long time. Admittedly, some of the characters came off as cliche at first. Like there's uh, the main character's older sister. She kind of comes off as a really cliche character, and they even pointed out in the show. They directly say, they have a line that says, "You're a cliche." Like they pretty much pointed out, but and there was a moment where I even did do a slap my head sort of moment as she was like, her mom is such a great person. She's like, I'm looking out for you, I'm looking out for you throughout the entire thing, and she's always like, no, mom, whatever. She's sort of like that character, at least in the beginning. And at first, I'm like, whatever. She's not very interesting. And then they make her interesting. Like, wow, that's such an amazing concept. That's such an amazing concept to actually have a character develop, have in a horror movie, have a character develop, have a character change, have a character have more sides to them. And through that, I actually started rooting for her at some point. She started to become a badass, and they point that out as well. She sort of has this relationship with the brother of the mother of the other kid that was the kid Will, who was taken away. They sort of have a relationship thing going on a little bit later. The sister was like dating this other jock guy, and he's sort of the cliche jerk, and then he's like, hold on. Sorry about that. I was answering a call, as you probably heard. So yeah, as I was saying, the sister became a really interesting character at some point, and she sort of became a character that, like, yeah, I could follow that character. I wanted to survive at this point. And that's really interesting, that there are characters that you just want to survive. There's this cop who's sort of like the drunken cop, and he's like, I don't give a damn about anything. And then, at least that's what it appears like at first, and then we learn about his daughter and his parallel to the girl that with the powers, and so on and so forth, and we really get to know this character as well. We just really get to know characters, and they were able to do this within 8 episodes for one season, so that's really impressive. Yeah, I mean, there are a few moments, like I said, there are a few moments in the beginning where I felt like, oh, that's a bit of a slap to the face, but as I said, they do pick up on those moments, and they do say, we're going to develop these characters, and we're going to, potentially for most people, you'll probably actually start to care about these characters because they're characters. And I would hope that more horror movies would take on this sort of way of handling their characters instead of being cardboard cutouts. I mean, I've been saying this for I don't know how long about how much more it would have an impact if you actually had characters you cared about, and clearly somebody was listening to somebody and actually paid attention to that advice and just started writing characters in a horror genre. So I'll talk about the writing. The writing seems on point. As I said, I don't know if, except for the references, I don't know if all the references are necessarily within that time era. I'd probably have to do a lot of research on that, but the kids were actually written as kids, which is fantastic because that is so rare. Oh, I mean, they're a bit smarter. Well, I mean, at least one of them is. I mean, they're all pretty intelligent, so one of them at least uses some high tech terms, and they learn stuff from this teacher who's enthused about their enthusiasm. So it picks off on they pick off on each other like that. So yeah, the kids are actually for the most part written like kids, which is to me, I haven't seen that in, again, a really long time, and I like that. I like that these kids, they lie to their parents. I think that's what kids would do. I think they sort of slightly pick on each other, and that's exactly what they do, and I feel like understanding that kids do that a lot is exactly what was shown here. So yeah, I highly recommend this show. If I were to give it a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's a really interesting show, and I am looking forward to if a season 2 does come up, because the way it ends, spoiler alerts, the girl sort of sacrifices herself to defeat the monster when it is coming after the kids. And the Will character, the one that they actually managed to save, there was someone else who got caught or captured by the monster. She didn't quite make it. But Will, when they returned, Will like spat out like some worm-like creature. So I don't know if that's like a different creature or if it's going to turn into a very similar creature to the one that we've seen in this. I don't know, but I would look forward to it. Who's I don't know if they would keep it the season 2 another 8 episodes. I mean, if they can pull off what they pulled off here, I see no problem with them doing another 8 episodes. That's perfectly fine. I mean, they laid it out really smoothly. They didn't feel like there were any moments that just went on for too long or anything like that, at least for me. So yeah, really great show. Really recommend it. I'm Thomas Cecily Jr., aka Mustached Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.